You're listening to Amazing Radio. I'm delighted to say that Josh from China Aster is on the line with me right now. He's going to be speaking to me, and he's also provided a brilliant session for us here on Amazing Radio. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for giving us this session. I thought it'd be good to catch up with you and get you to talk around the session tracks you recorded for us here on Amazing Radio. But I think we should start by establishing China Aster as an act. I understand Oliver Marston's involved as well. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you're all about.
Great. Well, Ollie and I met when we were teenagers, so over 10 years ago now. Um, we were both in bands in Guernsey, so we were both living in Guernsey. We are both in bands around Guernsey, sort of doing gigs together, and that's how we met. And we shared a similar taste of music. In music at the time, we were really big fans of the Smiths, Cocteau Twins, lots of sort of 80s alternative rock and sort of new wave and dream pop and stuff like that. So Ollie now that we eventually formed China Master, did some great gigs at the time. We played the Guernsey Festival, which was included acts like Maverick Sabre, Kaiser Chiefs and stuff like that. So we had some great sort of opportunities. Unfortunately, we went to uni and we disbanded. We didn't really have the sort of logistics or the funds or anything to try and keep it going for a time. So Ollie ended up doing his own sort of stuff, and sorry about that. And yeah, but now we've sort of found a way to make it work together again 10 years later, and yeah, so go.
So it must feel nice then to get back into the saddle, and if you like, and start making music again with Ollie during this time. Does this mean that the music you're putting out at the moment, you've been sitting on it for quite a while, or is it quite fresh, all the stuff, particularly maybe the tracks you've done for us in session?
Yeah, I mean, so with post-production, that's actually quite a recently written song. But last year we released a song called "If I Could Dance." That was actually written when I was about 17 years old, and we performed it as China Aster back in the day. But it's completely restylized, completely different tempo and everything. But it's great. So we've got two tracks out now. One from sort of a backlog of songs that I wrote when I was very very young, and then a more recently written one, which was written about just only a few months ago. So yeah, we've got sort of lots in the bag really that we can use, but we're also writing new songs as well. So it's a mixture really, but they're definitely all sort of restylized and produced sort of in a more consistent way, because in the style that we're working at the moment, and with sort of some of the producers and sound engineers that we're working with. So yeah, there is a sort of a standardization in a way happening, but it's very fluid, of course, as you can imagine, as it always is, and experimental as also. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear, Josh. You mentioned the influences when you started the band. Are those still the influences on the band now, or do you take influence from other things like life experience, society, maybe, things like that? Are you taking more things in as influence, or do you still have those musical anchors, if you like?
Well, yeah, we do have this musical anchors, and but we've listened to so much more music since then. I mean, since then, the Smiths have a very different meaning to what they did when we were first listening to them. At the time, Morrissey wasn't saying the things that he's now saying today. So he was associated with, he perhaps wasn't associated so strongly with certain ideas as he is now. Things like the Cocteau Twins, I would say, have sort of had a revival in a way. Dream pop is very popular now. It wasn't at the time. Shoegaze wasn't as popular at the time either. So in a way, we still have these influences, but they have different meanings now. And so, what I think that, the sounds that we're producing obviously is sort of bound up in those meanings, but we listen to all sorts of things now. I mean, Oliver's a big fan of like Tom Waits. Well, I'm a fan of John Mouse. We like Ariel Pink. And we also, I think what's so interesting about John Mouse is that he's influenced by a lot of philosophers that I'm influenced by. So I ended up doing a master's in European philosophy. So I was reading all the people that John Mouse was sort of reading. So we share those influences in a way. And the band is very much sort of influenced or interested in this concept of what we call lucid daydreaming, but it's really just exploring some of the ideas of sort of utopian thinkers, utopian Marxist thinkers as well, like Ernst Bloch, and also just some sort of the utopian socialist Marx himself. So I wouldn't say we're a political band per se, but we certainly are
aware of the
right,
ideologies, if you like. Yeah.
aware of the ideologies. I think using these philosophical concepts and sort of trying to sort of world building. So we in a way, I think that the band, even though it's not political, it is at the same time a kind of campaign for a certain optimism of sort of, I guess, trying to re-inspire ideas about the future. We have so many dystopian films. We have very few utopian films. So I think there's this critical theorist who once said, it's easier to imagine the end of the world than to imagine the end of capitalism. And it kind of captures, I think, the sort of, I guess, the I think context in which we see ourselves navigating.
No,
so yeah, we're influenced by music, but other things as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And it's really nice to hear a musician who's aware of all these different ideologies and bringing them to essentially be an influence on the art they're creating. So it's really good to hear that perspective, Josh. Let's hear one of the session tracks. I think we should start with Saturday. Is this one of the ones that you've had in your vault, which has took a bit of a spin in terms of structure?
Well, no, this is a cover song.
Oh, right, okay.
So I probably should have spoken about Sparkle Horse as an influence as well. So Sparkle Horse, it's this is a track from their first album. Sparkle Horse has worked with like a lot of great artists that we're interested in. So like Tom Waits, also David Lynch, PJ Harvey, also. So this is one of those.
Oh, it's great. It's a lovely version of the track. Then I hadn't made the connection with Sparkle Horse, but I think we should hear it now. This is China Aster and Saturday here on Amazing Radio.
You are a car. You are a hospital. I'd walk to hell and back to see you smile on Saturday. You are a star. You are a sea of air. Play great keyboards of horses' teeth on Saturday. Oh, Saturday. I'd like to tell you how I feel, but I'll probably keep it till Saturday. Oh, Saturday. Oh, Saturday. On Saturday. On Saturday. Oh.
So that was Saturday, China Aster doing a version of a song inspired by, well, the song from Sparkle Horse. We found that out in the first part of the interview, speaking about influences around the band. I'd like to hear a bit more about the writing process now, Josh, if that's okay. I mean, has that evolved over the years then? I guess technology helps as well. If you and Ollie aren't in the same place, you can just bang ideas across the internet now, can't you?
Absolutely. I mean, of course, when we were younger, Ollie and I were, very close together. We were living in the same place, and it was easier for us to write songs together then. But in a way, 10 years later, Ollie is now sort of an established musician in his own right, writing a lot more than he perhaps was at the time. At the time, it was probably 70% my songwriting, 30% Ollie's. But now, China Aster is a lot more sort of 50-50. I tend to, at the moment, our current process has been that I've written and recorded a song in my room, which I then will send to Ollie. I will then go over, so I'm still based in Guernsey, so I will travel to London, where Ollie is. Then we'll work on the song together and re-record things here and there. Ollie is basically functioning as a kind of co-producer. So he will, I guess, have that sort of objective standpoint that I really lack, and he's able to say, this is too much, it's overproduced here, let's take this away, let's cut this up, let's do this, let's do that. As far as I'm concerned, an essential part of the songwriting process. So I would say we're working a lot more collaboratively now. Once we've done that, we then send it to our mixing engineer. We're working with a guy called Joshua Rumble, who's worked with some great acts, most notably Black Country, New Road. But he's worked as all sorts of amazing artists and also just some great sound engineers also. So that's currently our 3-step process in a way. And I'm hoping to move to the UK at some point. So it'll be a lot easier for Ollie and I to explore, I think, songwriting in a much more collaborative way. But yeah, and as I said, I've got a sort of backlog of lots of songs that were written a long time ago. But, also writing songs at the moment, and Ollie and I just have, I think, probably a lot of scope to be able to explore how to do that together a little bit more, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds great. It'd be nice, to get you living next to each other once again, and it might be, it sounds like you are pretty proactive when it comes to songwriting anyway, but I imagine being in the same place could help as well. You're gonna do another song for us. You've recorded a track called Post Production. Now this must be one of the most recent ones then.
It is. So we released this song last month, I think March 28th. This one was one that was written incidentally, and I don't think this is a very meaningful coincidence, but it was just written on the day of when the Queen's death was announced. So it was basically written in a lunchtime during work, and just put together really quickly, recorded very, very quickly. But then something that Ollie and I developed a bit later on. The song approaches this idea of lucid daydreaming, or this idea of hope. In almost, there is something comedic about the song, but I wouldn't say it's an ironic song. Some people, I think, have interpreted it as an ironic song. For those who haven't heard it yet, the song is called Post Production. It's about post production, and it looks at post production, digital post production, video editing, for example, as a kind of microcosm for a plastic and changeable world, but also ultimately a world that can be changed towards a better world, or something a little bit better. So it's very utopian, and it's quite almost science fictional, I'd say. At the same time, it kind of envisages this, I guess, a future where the world could just be quite easily edited in a way, and it is a ridiculous idea, and I think we sort of know that that's humorous, but I think we need ridiculous ideas today. We need to not be scared to, I guess, we shouldn't be so reticent. I think it's good to just explore big, crazy ideas, because ultimately we, even though they seem so much against reality, they sometimes self-fulfill a new reality that we didn't know that was possible until we sort of imagined a different way that things could be. This song, I think, in terms of its musical style, it's a lot more upbeat to what we've done in the past. In a way, I think the song sounds, I think there's something in it that is quite similar, I think, to the Pet Shop Boys Go West, and and sort of playing, I guess, with the sort of, I guess, some of the ideas of the Soviet era back in the day when it was a symbol of a better world. People were even exploring the idea that space could be explored and we could live on new planets and we could even resurrect the dead was another idea that was really floating around at the time. Big, crazy, ridiculous ideas, but also, interesting, great ideas.
No, it's fantastic. You speak with such enthusiasm and optimism. It's quite infectious, Josh. I think we should hear post-production now here on Amazing Radio. Again, another session track done for us here by China Aster.
I think it's logically possible, so long as the conditions are right. But time is tight, but we can fix it in the post-production. Try not to worry, nothing is unfixable, but you cannot change the past. We'll do what we can. We've made so much time. So much time. We've made so much time. So much time. Well, I look silly there. That bit isn't right. But time is tight though, we sort it in the post-production. Nothing is unfixable, but you cannot change the past. We'll do what we can, we sort it in the post-production. We've made so much time, so much time. We've made so much time. Just try not to worry. Nothing is unfixable, but you cannot change the past. We're gonna really, really sort it properly. I look silly there. Oh, that bit isn't right. But time is tight though, we'll sort it in the post-production.
A very special acoustic version of post-production by China Aster. Josh is on the line with me right now. Josh, thanks once again for doing those session tracks for us. I think it gives people, this chat as well gives people a lot more of an insight to your band. And I think it's important that we had this chat around the tracks as well, because I think nowadays it's very hard to cut through as a musician, isn't it, and as an artist. But I think if you're able to contextualize your work, I think it endears you a lot more to people.
Yeah, I completely I completely agree, and I mean it's very, very difficult and scary to be yourself, to get your ideas out there, to show people who you are as I guess a band that consists of people with your own hopes and ideas. It's much easier to do it, of course, with a kind of interface of some kind, whether that's through a PR company or whatever, and I think being able to somehow manage the media and I guess manage that sort of that interface, those sort of all the things that come between you and your audience is obviously a very difficult thing, but it's also it is very, very important because music in a way has an infinite amount of permutations, and so much of music just sounds very similar. It's very easy to, you know, there's only so many chord permutations that you can have, and so it's important, I think, to use, you know, if you want your music to be original and unique, it is very important to marry it to ideas, who you are, your context, being able to let people see where you've come from, even if you don't think that where you come from is particularly interesting. It's very, very, you know, other people might think it's very interesting, and also other people might need to hear it, right? I think it's so important to let other people know where you've come from, and to sort of, if you can, you know, be vulnerable in that way.
No, it's very good and very brave of you as well, to a certain extent, but very good. And I'm sure the people listening around the world right now, this will resonate with them quite a lot. I think your music and your words this afternoon. So you have this quite optimistic tone about yourself and your music and your art, Josh. But where do you see the project going then? How do you see the rest of the year panning out? What's your plans? What's your ambitions?
Well, we just want to keep growing as a band. We just want to be able to have, you know, we want to, I think, build more of a following, get people listening to the music, and just be able to just be in a situation where we can afford to write more, we can afford to tour, you know, to play live more often, and just keep doing what we're doing. And I think also just refine this, the ideas that we have, the worldview that we're sort of building and working on, refining that, getting people to relate to it. And yeah, just also, you know, at the same time being open to change as well, and just seeing, you know, where that could take us. We're going to be playing at the Guernsey Together Festival on the 27th of May. And then after that, we hope to do some stuff around the UK, and then eventually take it a bit further. We've got a new song that's going to be coming out in a few months' time, hopefully within the next couple of months, called Memories. So we're hoping to, yeah, definitely get that out there. And yeah, just keep recording, keep doing some more music. I'm going to be going over to London soon to record a lot again. So a lot more is on its way. So yeah.
Good, good. It sounds like an exciting time to be in China Aster. Thanks once again, Josh, for being on the line with me and giving us that session as well. Say hello to Ollie for us as well. I'm sure you will.
Absolutely. Sorry he couldn't make it today.
It's all good. It's all good. Thanks once again. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks, Frankie.